Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to tackle a question that probably hits you almost every single time you go shopping.
So, picture this. You're standing in the aisle at the store, right? You've got two products in your hands. One's got this big, shiny, eco-friendly label, and the other says it's made from recycled stuff. Which one is really the better choice for the planet? Honestly, it's tough. It can feel pretty much impossible to know for sure.
Well, to get to the real answer, we have to do more than just trust the marketing on the label. We've got to go deeper. We need to put on our detective hats and follow the clues. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. Think of this as your official detective's manual for packaging.
Okay, so every good detective needs a primary tool, right? Ours is something called a life cycle assessment, or you'll hear it called an LCA. Now, this isn't just some corporate buzzword, it's the real deal, a super rigorous, internationally standardized method for calculating the entire environmental impact of a product. We're talking from the very beginning, the cradle, all the way to the end, the grave.
So let's get into it. How does an LCA actually work? Well, it's all about following the complete life story of a package, from start to finish. We're looking for the clues, the evidence, basically where the biggest environmental problems, or hotspots, are hiding.
The whole investigation really breaks down into four main stages. First up, you've got the cradle. This is where we get the raw materials. Think mining for aluminum or making plastic from oil. Step 2 is manufacturing and transport, turning those raw materials into the actual package and then shipping it. Step 3 is its life with you, the consumer. And finally, Step 4, the grave. This is what happens after you've used it. Does it go to a landfill, get incinerated, or maybe it gets recycled?
Okay, so you've seen the four stages. Where do you think the biggest environmental impact comes from? Where's the smoking gun? I mean, every step definitely matters, but there is one factor that often just blows the others out of the water.
It's the material. The material itself is the massive clue. Just look at this data. To make just 1 kilogram of brand new virgin aluminum, that pumps out nearly 15 kilograms of CO2. Whoa! Now, new PET plastic, that's a lot lower. But look at this. Recycled PET. Its carbon footprint is just tiny in comparison. So this tells us that choosing recycled content isn't just a nice little bonus. No, it's a total game changer. It fundamentally flips the entire script on the environmental impact.
But hold on, our investigation isn't over yet. Not by a long shot. In fact, we're just getting to the most complex and honestly the most surprising part of the whole mystery. What happens at the very end of a package's life? And trust me, this is where things can get really tricky.
Think about it. When a package gets recycled, that's awesome, right? It means we don't have to create new material from scratch. And that is a huge win for the environment. But, and here's the puzzle, who gets to take the credit for that win? Is it the company that made the first package? Or is it the next company, the one that actually uses the recycled plastic to make something new? This is a big debate, and there are basically two different ways to do the accounting here. The old school way is called the cutoff method. It's pretty simple. It gives 100% of the recycling credit to the next guy in line. The original package gets 0 credit. But the new method being pushed in the EU, called the Circular Footprint Formula, or CFF, kind of says, hey, hold on a sec, that doesn't seem fair. It says the benefit should be shared, so it splits the credit between the first producer and the next user. And you can probably guess, depending on which method you choose, you get a wildly different final answer.
And look, this isn't just my opinion. The source material we're looking at from the Packaging Design Academy says it plain as day. The choice of which end-of-life method you use can swing results substantially. We're talking about a decision that can completely change the outcome of the entire investigation. It's a huge deal.
Okay, I know what you're thinking. This sounds like total chaos, right? Just a bunch of different rules to get whatever answer you want. But it's not the Wild West. There are rules. To be taken seriously, to be credible, any of these investigations has to follow a very strict set of rule books.
And here they are, the official rule books of our investigation. You've got the big one, the ISO 14040 series. That sets the global standard for how to even do an LCA. Then you have ISO 14067, which gets way more specific about calculating a product's carbon footprint. And on top of that, there's the GHG Protocol, which is a guide for how big companies should report all this stuff. So there are standards in place to make sure everyone is,
at least in theory, playing the same game.
But, and this is a big but, just like regular laws, the rules can be different depending on where you are. So in the EU, they now mandate using that new circular footprint formula we just talked about, the one that shares the credit. In the US, though, the old cut-off method is still really common. And this is a huge, huge reason why a product's green claim in Europe might be based on totally different math than the exact same claim made over in the States.
Okay, wow, that was a lot of detective work. So let's bring it all home. What does all of this actually mean for you? When you're standing in that store aisle, what are the big takeaways that can help you make a smarter choice?
I want to give you 3 simple but really powerful rules of thumb to put in your detective's toolkit. Rule number 1, mass is king. Heavier packages almost always mean a bigger footprint because it's just more stuff. Simple. Rule 2, location matters. A lot. Where a package was made seriously changes its footprint because it depends on whether the factory was powered by coal or by solar. And rule number 3, and this one is so important, recyclable is not the same thing as recycled. Just because a package could be recycled in a perfect world doesn't mean your local town can or will actually recycle it.
So when you boil it all down, what's the final verdict? The truth is, there's no single best package that's the winner in every single situation. The real answer, the honest answer, is almost always, it depends. It depends on how much it weighs, how much recycled stuff is in it, what the recycling system is like where you live, and even what kind of electricity was used to make it in the first place.
So you have the toolkit now. You're the detective. You know the right questions to ask. So the next time you see a product with a big green leaf slapped on it telling you it's great for the planet, what's the first question you're going to ask? Will you ask what it's made of, how much it weighs, or maybe what really happens to this thing when I'm done with it? Because asking those questions, well, that's how you crack the code. Thanks for joining me on The Explainer.